All right, just ball is nice and handy. We'll just start with those shoulder rolls, elbow bends, open that chest, lifting and extending, lifting and extending. Bring it down, roll through your cat. Inhale through your cow, big deep breath in, and then we're going to grab the ball. We're going to put our hands on each side of it and give it a good squeeze. So engage those biceps and those triceps, even some shoulder stabilizers, and then squeeze the shoulders back without bending your elbows. Let them come forward. Squeeze them back, still squeezing the ball. Let them come forward. 2 more times, squeeze back. And last time, squeeze back. All right. Wide stance. Toes are turned out. We're going to bend the knees in a little demi-plie or full plie. We're going to drop the ball and pick it up and come back up. Sit down, drop it, and lift it. When you lift it up, give it a good squeeze. And then you can start to get a little more aggressive, bouncing it a little harder, maybe bouncing it hard enough that you have to chase it to come up quickly. Two more. And last one. Grab the ball, and we'll just sit right on top of the ball. Please. You can give it a little gentle bounce. Just a couple little reminders. We want to stay on the ball. So you have virtually made a promise that you will stay on the ball during class. If you want more stability, you're either barefooted or have shoes on. If you have socks, you want to make sure those have those little grippy things on the bottom. You can also go to a wide stance as you walk your legs out right now. It should feel more stable. And if you're looking for more challenge, you squeeze those ankles and knees together. Most of the time, we're going to be hip distance, so just keep that in mind. And now we're just going to roll a couple times. It's almost like a miniature cat-cow, just through the pelvis, tucking and extending and tucking and extending. And then do that same thing, a little side to side. And then turn that into a circle, forward, side, back, other side, forward, side, back. And reverse those circles. Just, again, just working through those pelvic muscles. And then the last one, a little tricky. You're going to think about pushing back with one hip and forward with the other, like a little piston sort of. And relax. All right. And then with those feet still hip distance apart, walk them forward till your legs are straight. And I'm going to go ahead and turn sideways for now. And from those straight-legged position, you're just going to go ahead and sink forward until your knees end up over your heels and you're on an incline so that those abs are engaged. As always, you want to think about keeping those ribs pulled down and in. We're going to open those arms, shoulders back and down. We're going to hinge back just 1 inch and forward just 1 inch. Tiniest little move that you can do. If you want more challenge, your arms go a little higher, even into a V. Overhead, of course, would be the most challenged, but make sure that they stay out of your peripheral vision. If you feel it in your back, bring them back down a little bit lower, small range, and then sit up. It was just a little baby warm up there. Adding on to that, slide back down, heels and knees are in a straight line, arms in that T, and you're going to reach and lift at the same time. So it's not a, so you want to come up so you're not rounding down. Up and over you go, and lift the other way. And your ball is going to move. And back to center. And now we're going to roll a little bit further out. so that our head is off the ball, but our hips are probably still on. We're going to use our fingertips, not our whole hand like that, just fingertips, to support that head in a neutral position. So I allow my head to nod yes, and I'm gently going to press my head into my fingertips. And then I'm going to allow my head with the chin still nodded yes to drop back. The ribs are going to pop up. And then I'm going to exhale and come just back up to neutral. So I'm going to inhale up and over and come to neutral. So this is our negative to neutral. If you want more challenge, we're going to create a longer lever overhead by cradling our head in between our biceps. Long arms give you a little more action. And then cradle your head, give it a nice little stretch, and then walk forward until your head is on the ball. And then relax those arms out to the side. First option for more challenge with our lower body is to make sure it's not drooping, it's lifted. So your hips are parallel with the ceiling, they're not tipped onto the ball, like that. Next challenge, walk your ankles and knees to touch. Smaller base of support, a little more challenge. Then if you need less, you go feet wide. Then if you want to try next level, lift one heel and then the other. If that works, lift one foot and then the other. If that works, lift a knee, keep the hips lifted though, and the other knee. And if that works, you lift your leg. And if that works, you lift a leg, you draw a circle, lift a leg, and draw a circle. So you're going to play with that for a couple more rounds, making sure that you're alternating. Squeezing those glutes so they don't droop or drop down. And then as you're ready, roll all the way back up onto the top of your ball. All right, and then we're just gonna do our little play period. So we're gonna try and sit tall and then see if we could lift our feet up off the ball. Hands can hold on to the ball or you can bring them out. Remember, you promised not to fall off the ball. Now, if you're able to do that fairly well, you can go back into that pelvic rocking forward and back, side to side, or put them together in a circle, but you're trying to do it with your feet off the ground. So you have to master just the balance first. And relax. All right. We are heading down to our mats. We're going to keep them folded up for now. We'll start with the tough stuff and we'll come back to the nicer stuff. We're going to be progressing across the room. So if you want to scoot your mat towards the back of your room so you're going to have extra space, you might do that. And your knees are going to be on the mat. They don't have to be touching. And your ball is on the floor. We're going to scooch down so that our elbows are almost to our knees. Our hands are right up against our shoulders and we're a tiny little ball. So you want to start with that, everything snug together. Then you're going to roll forward and you're going to lift your toes in the air so that you roll onto the tops of your thighs. And then you send that ball out, pull the ribs in, abs in, stretch it out, and then use your abs to pull back. So we're out in a plank and we're back in a pike. Out in your plank and back in your pike. As you go out, try not to let your back sag, so you really tuck the hips, pull the belly button in. 2 more. And last one, roll it out. Hang out, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We'll bring that ball back in right underneath you. so that you can hang out for a second. And then you're going to take your toes nice and wide, probably wider than your mat, and then tuck them so that the ball rolls underneath you. You feel nice and supported. Your legs are straight. You've got a lot of support here. Keep your left hand on the ball. Lift that right arm up by your ear and bring it down. Left arm up and bring it down. Just do a couple like that. If you have shoulder issues, rather than come overhead, you might go out to the side a little bit. Good. And then let the upper body relax for a second. And then come back. And then this time, try arms in a T. If that's okay, try them in a V, upper body. And if that's okay, up overhead or somewhere where your arms get out of your peripheral vision. All right. And then from there, we're going to go into our regular extensions. So my hands are going to support me initially to press up into an extension. Once I have that range of motion, maybe I just come to my fingertips. Or if I want that full challenge, hands by my side. Beautiful. Then we're going to bring our hands down, walk our feet onto the mat, and lift just one leg. Bring it down, lift the other leg, and bring it down. Now try opposite leg, opposite hand. And one more time, opposite levers. And then we're going to roll forward till our hips are the highest point. Bring the feet together, and we'll do that reverse hyperextension. So we're still working low back muscles, but just in the opposite way. And then we're going to come high into a parallel to the ground position. So our hips are no longer the highest point. I want you to look down and make sure that you have your hands right under your shoulders, not wider, because we're going to do Pilates push-ups. So my thumbs are only a couple inches apart. I want to have at least a foot between the back of my hand and the ball, so that as I bend my elbows and tip my upper body forward and my lower body up, I'll have space for my elbows to come backwards in that Pilates push-up. And if you need more challenge, your hands go forward, the ball drags lower, more of your upper body will get pushed away. Make sure that your feet are coming up as your head goes down. A few more here. Last two. Woo, beautiful. And then find that high plank. All right, you can stay here. As you want more plank challenge, you walk your hands forward and drag the ball lower on your body. So maybe it goes to your thighs. Maybe it goes to your shins. Maybe it goes all the way down to your ankles or your feet. Keep in mind, you want to press the floor away, pull your abs in, head is in line with your spine. And then when you're ready, however you want to come out of it, we get the flop again. Flop, flop, flop. And then from the same prone position, this time we're going to come out. We did opposite arm, opposite leg before. So you're welcome to try that, right? Or you can see if you can get all four limbs up. And mosey back. You can take a plop stretch in the meanwhile. And then once again, we're going to be on our mats with the ball off of the mat. So you may want to sit just in front of your folded mat so that when you roll down, your hips are on the mat and the ball is still out on the floor. And we'll just start with a nice relax stretch here for a moment. Legs just hanging out on the ball. Hands by your sides. Press your head into the mat. Lift your fingers up and press your shoulders down. Then bring your hands down. And while we're doing this, I want you to think about head gently pressing, shoulders pressing, elbows and knife edge of your fingertips pressing. And then we lift up in a bridge. If that feels unstable, your feet go wide. If you want more challenge, your feet go together. If you want one more challenge, take one leg up and down, maybe 3 or 4 times. Oh, I skipped a step. If you want more challenge and you're not doing that single leg, lift your hands off the ground, but keep your head and your shoulders pressing gently. Next level, lower your hips for a second, roll the ball in so your feet are on the top face of the ball, and then again, you're going to lift up. If you want more action, ankles and knees touch. More action, you bring those hands up, and then finally, if you want, you can go single leg. And bring those hips down. Last level, if you so choose, you drag the ball in so that only your heels are on the top of the ball. All 10 fingers, toes press up. Here we go. Again, walking them together is more challenge. Hands off the ground if you want. Single leg if you want. And down. Oy. Woo, stretch those legs out for a moment. Take a break. So that was some hamstring, definitely some glute and low back. Now we're going to go into a little more pure hamstring and then into pure glute. So roll the ball away, lift the hips up, and then drag ball back using your hamstrings. Again, if your ankles and knees are touching, you're going to work those medial hamstrings a little more. Now, you have the option to do single leg, but I'm going to challenge you to just lift the foot off the, well, no, I'm not. That's too hard. Try single leg, 6 of them if you want. And down. Woo! All right, that was hamstring. Here comes the glute. Drag the ball in. Feet are on top of the ball. Again, you can choose hip distance or not. Lift your hips up, nice and high. In your bridge, drop them down and up, down and up. down, up. Two more. And relax. Oi, oi, oi. Woo! Pull that ball underneath your left leg. Hug that right knee in towards your right chest. Just a very passive moment here. Not jerking on that leg, just giving that hamstring a second to relax. And then let's bring that knee toward the midline. Let it cross over your left thigh and give it a little tug. Meanwhile, roll the ball back to center. Press the right leg open and drag the left heel and the ball in. Thread the needle stretch here. Play with your right toes if you want with your left hand. And release that. Right foot on the ball. Roll it over to the right. Hug your left knee in. Take a moment. Just let it adjust. Bring it across. Let the foot rest on the right thigh. Move that to center. Pivot open. Drag it in. And again, relax. Take a moment, just long stretch in your body. Your arms can be overhead or out to the side. Just going to let those legs relax for a second. And then as you're ready, drag the ball in, grab hold of it, and you can stay here. I'm going to have to move because I'm too close to the table. And if you want to, you can unfold your mat. Don't have to. We're probably not going to need the lower half of it. So it's up to you. All right. So ball is right above you. And again, we're going to use those triceps and biceps to give it a little squeeze. And then deep breath in, exhale, lift that ball straight up in the air. If you want a little more, inhale, arms go up overhead. Exhale, back down, head down. Inhale, exhale to lift. Inhale, stretch and reach, arms overhead. Exhale, back down. This can totally be done with your head on the ground. If you want to add a little fun challenge, drop the ball, bounce it, and come back up again. Exhale, ribs and abs in, arms overhead. Bounce on the inhale, come back up. I'm going to hit the table anyway, aren't I? Deep breath in, exhale up and over, bounce the ball, release one more time. Inhale, exhale up and over, head down or not, and bounce. And then relax. We're going to bring that ball now in between our thighs for a second. You're going to give it a squeeze using those inner thighs. You probably have to hold that ball in place a little bit. Feel those inner thighs, and as you do that, see what happens to your abdominals. As you give those inner thighs a squeeze, hopefully that engages a little bit in those low abs. Release the squeeze. Do that again for me, please. Exhale, squeeze, 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 and release. And exhale, squeeze, 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 and release two more times. Exhale, squeeze, 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 release. Last time. Exhale, squeeze. Again, put your hands on those low abs, see if they are engaging a bit more, and release. And then we're going to do that same thing. We're going to keep the knees in tabletop so they're right above our hips, even though they're wide apart. Arms can be out here, or you can keep them on your ribs to give yourself feedback. Deep breath in, give you that ha, 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 ha. Ribs and hips come toward each other. Low back gets closer to the ground. It might be on the ground. It might be just slightly arched. Point your toes. Allow those thighs to move away from your body without a corresponding lift of your low back or your ribs poking up. Legs move away nice and slowly on an inhale. They come back up nice and even more slowly on an exhale. So I like to point on the way down and flex on the way back up. You could alternate. You can do both. You can keep them pointed. You can keep them flexed. And you're giving that ball a squeeze too. Oh, so much going on. Then if you want a little more action, we go to that longer lever. So I'm going to lift that ball up to my ankles. And again, secure the ribs down. It's not about how far down you go. It's about reaching through those legs and making sure that you don't correspondingly lift that low back up as you go. Gently press the head and the shoulders into the ground and release. Whee! Let's let those hip flexors get a little love. So drop the left leg open, right leg drops in. You can just rest that ball on your left side. Feel that stretch on the front of the right thigh. If you want to, you could even set the ball on top of it, giving yourself just a little tiny bit of pressure. Nod your head yes. And then we'll lift that up. And you can let that left leg drop in, right leg drop open, feeling that stretch on the left side. Again, if you want, you can put that ball right on top. And back to center. All right, back to that tabletop position. You'll have options to go long leg if you want. Otherwise, palms are open, abs are in, knees are side to side. Keeping those ribs pointed towards the sky, but hips and legs rotate side to side. And then if you wanted to, you can pull the knees in towards your chest, let them move the opposite way, and then let them move away like you're doing that toe touch, and reverse that circle. So you go to the side, up through center, opposite side, legs move away. So it becomes sort of a little bit of a corkscrew, baby corkscrew. And of course, you can do this with that long lever, long legs, up and over, down and around. Just be careful, those ribs and abs and back stay just exactly as they are, one solid block. And relax. Take a little break, let everything rest, fill out your feet. And then we're gonna grab that ball between our hands again. Feet back down on the ground for a second, shoulders back and down, nod your head yes. Then tabletop we go with those legs, deep breath in, exhale, float the head, neck, and shoulders off the ground like we did for ab prep and extend them overhead, but you're gonna add the legs this time for double leg stretch. Then bend the knees, tap them. So I'm not lifting my body up and down, I'm just coming to here. If you want to, you can keep your head down. Then if you want to entertain yourself, you will have to come a little higher. I keep my knees where they are, but I'm going to trade off without pulling my knees in like that. I'm going to grab the ball between my legs and go into my double leg stretch here. And then I have to go get it. I can't pull the knees in, though I had a little disaster there, and reach. So you come up to hand off, and then you come down. Try not to roll off your mat. And then finally, if you want, you come up sort of almost a teaser, roll the ball to your ankles, back to your knees, and extend. You come up, keeping your legs where they are, roll forward, roll back, and down, and relax. All right, beautiful. From here, we're going to put the ball on top of our shins, and we want to hold it in place and turn into a little ball here. Now, you might rock side to side. If it's okay with you, sorry, I'm going to roll off my mat here. You could roll up, but as you roll up, you want to try and keep that ball down at your ankles and stick the balance. And then next time you come up, you're going to stay there. Put that ball out in front of you. And we're going to sit nice and tall. Pull those glutes out from under you. Knees are going to bend to start with or straighten, depending on your flexibility. Let's press down on the ball and grow tall. And then give it a press forward. And then if that's okay with you, start to straighten out those legs. Flex through the heels, pushing forward, pressing down, pushing forward and pressing down. So spine stretch. with the ball, that allows you to press that spine tall and give it that hinge, and then relax. Beautiful. All right, let's do roll downs with the ball. So you're going to grab that ball, ankles, knees to touch, or hip distance if you need. Exhale to hinge back. Inhale, lift the ball just a little bit. Lower the ball, come up, inhale. Exhale, hinge it back. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, lower the ball, come back up. Inhale, exhale back. Maybe that ball goes a little further overhead, if that's okay with you. Lower it down, inhale. Exhale, hinge it back. Inhale, reach it up overhead, if that's okay with you. Lower it down, exhale. 2 more like that. Back it goes. Lift it up, lower it down. Inhale, last time, exhale. Inhale, see if you can hold it here. Holding, holding. Abs in, arms overhead, ribs down, back of the neck is long for 4, 3, 2, and 1. And relax. All right, one more from that seated position. We're going to come up, ankles, knees to touch. We're not going to roll back. We're just going to give it, I'm just going back a couple degrees and rotating side to side. Keep the knees together. Look at the knees and make sure that your legs aren't doing that, right? So my hips stay centered this time and my ribs rotate, not in a rounded position, but lift it up. If you want a little more challenge, you can make sort of a little rainbow. It goes up and over and then to the other side. Just a few more here. And relax. All right. I'm going to take a moment for a lovely stretch here. So that ball is going to come behind you. However you want to get into this is fine. But you're just basically going to be squatty, squatty right up next to that ball. But, sorry, you want to be on it just a little bit. There we go. All right, so first option, just let your head rest and open your arms into a T. Should be a nice stretch across your chest. Think about pressing the backs of your shoulders into that ball. If you want a little more, lift those hips up. And then right on top of the ball you go. Chest is open, arms out to the side. Give those glutes a nice squeeze. The last one I'll demo just really quickly. If you have the flexibility and you don't have vertigo, you can allow your head to drop up and over. And again, arms are going to come out. Again, that was just a really quick demo for a moment. Just passive opening of that chest, shoulders giving a little squeeze. And then finally, carefully, you just start to roll back, ending up on top of that ball. And I'm going to reformat. Oh, sorry. I forgot the whole second series or final series. Sorry, guys. Okay, yeah. Your mat is still folded and you're on your knees, and that ball is to your right hip. You're going to take the left leg in front of your mat, and the right leg is behind it, and you lean on that ball. And you're going to straighten out those legs. And then I can use my right hand, lift that left arm up. I can use that right hand to give me a little lift as I do some oblique work here, focused. I can lift that arm off of the ball. Two more. And then hold this one up and give me the tiniest pulse. Pulse, pulse, pulse. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold. And then we got a halfway flop. So that left arm comes up and over, ball underneath your rib cage so that you're getting a nice stretch in that left side. And then actually, let's just stay here. We'll do the second one on this side also. So we're going to stack the legs up this time. Make sure you're not on a slippery mat with your feet. Put the right hand on the ground and then see if you can lift that left hand up. If you need it here for balance, that's fine. If you can put it on your hip, that's great. Maybe you wait and see. And then that left leg lifts up and we're trying to get it right at hip height. Pointed or flex, draw some little golf ball sized circles and reverse. And then make it baseball size. and reverse. And then we're going basketball and reverse. And then the big challenge, can you make a circle as big as the ball, ronde-jean movement, right? And don't forget to go the other way. And relax. We will stretch those legs out shortly, but let's do those two exercises other side. So again, if you want to have your mat folded so it's kind of to your knees for this first one, ball is on your left hip, lean into it, right leg in front, left leg behind, and your stagger stance, not touching the mat. Then I can use that left hand for support as I come up, or I can come just to fingertip spiders onto your shoulder. And then we're going to hold this one up, give a little pulse. And then hold and relax. You can flop over that ball, let that right arm come up and over. Ball comes kind of underneath your rib cage. And then you're going to move your mat out of the way unless it's not slippery. You're going to put that left hand down, ball comes underneath your left hip. Stack those legs up. If you need the right hand here for support, otherwise it's on your hip. Right leg up, golf ball circles, and reverse. Baseball, and reverse. Basketball, and reverse. And biggest circle you can do. Trying to stabilize and not roll, and go the other way. That I was saying that to myself. And relax. And now just pivot over, if that's okay with you, onto the ball and make your way up to a seated position. Now I'm going to reformat and face you. Okay, we're going to do a couple stretches on the ball. Of course, the ball is not a stable environment, so you can always use your hands and press into it, and you can come down to the floor and do it instead. Let's take that left ankle, cross it over the right, and press tall. So the nice thing about being on the ball is, instead of having to hunch forward like that, I could just push the ball back and give myself a beautiful hinge in that hip. Feeling that on the outside of that left hip. We're going to hold this for a few seconds. If you want to let go and give that foot a little massage, you are certainly welcome to. Create toe spacers with your fingers, save your $5 at Amazon, and then press tall. And then option to let that knee cross all the way over. Now we're on a very small base of support, so just keep that in mind. And if that's okay with you, it's not really a twist, but we can just take that right hand and press that left hip away. And then we'll stabilize. And we'll take that right ankle across the left leg, press tall, find stability. If you need a little more, you push the hips back. If you feel stable enough, you can use your left hand to create space between your toes, maybe manipulate them a little bit. And then sitting tall. If you want, that right knee crosses the left. Option to give it a little tug. And release. All right. Let's do a couple rolls, just like we started at the beginning of class. A little pelvic movement, only we're going to make it a little bit bigger as we roll into our cat. And inhale into our cow, exhale cat. Inhale into your cow. Couple more here. Getting that whole body movement. And then you want to end up in your cow, and let's press that chest open. Use your right hand to press that right leg open. Give me a little lift to the left. And back down. Press that left leg open. Right arm lifts. Stretch it up. And bring it down. Roll into that cat, inhale into that cow. All right, we're gonna start a little gentle bouncing, but rather than flop flop in our upper body, we want it to be nice and controlled. So it's not really a bouncy bouncy, it's more of a lift, lift, lift. I'm gonna count down from 4. When we get to 1, we're gonna stand up. So 4, 3, 2, I can't get up, and 1. Beautiful. All right, thank you guys.